Hello and welcome to this video. This video today is going to be about sweet potato slips. I have two methods that I do to collect my sweet potato slips. Please stick around to the end of this video. It would greatly help support our garden. I have my favorite and then I have my tried and true. I'm going to give you some tips on how to produce a lot of sweet potatoes in your garden. You don't need a lot of space. You don't plant sweet potatoes in the ground like you would potatoes to grow more potatoes. You need slips. These are slips. I think this is about 4 or 5 slips. And I'm going to show you how you get your slips, the best results for getting slips. Once you plant sweet potatoes, slips, you have sweet potato slips all the time if you plant them in the ground in your garden. You want to be mindful on where you plant them. However, they're easy to distinguish and you can just uproot them if you don't like them in the spot that they're growing in. One of the most famous ways of getting your slips to sprout is by sticking them in a jar of water. They become very beautiful. You can actually keep them as a house plant in your house, or I just put mine in the ground. So I'm going to start off with my first method of how I do get my sweet potato slips. Here are some sweet potatoes that are just growing in my garden, just wild. You can see this is just in the middle of the walkway here. This is in the middle of the walkway here. Some sweet potatoes. I did not plant this here, nor did I plant this here. Sweet potatoes or this. You can see how they just kind of shoot out just like this. I have more on the other side from where I have previously planted. My favorite thing about sweet potatoes are wherever these rooted nodes are, if they hit the ground, they will grow sweet potatoes. Now I know sweet potatoes are usually a vining where people will grow them on vines. This is a vine right here. It's growing here. See the sweet potatoes? They're growing up into this passion fruit right here. It will only give me sweet potatoes from the root nodes that are down in the ground. But when you allow your sweet potatoes to run along the ground, you can get sweet potatoes buried all the way down in your garden to produce more sweet potatoes. As you can see, if I let this run, when this gets bigger, here, 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 and then as it grows, here, see that little node right there? As it grows, it will give me tons of sweet potatoes. You have sweet potatoes forever. Do not be afraid to plant your sweet potatoes in a raised bed. I find that they help with aerating the soil where other things are growing. You see how large this is grown? Because it just opens up the ground or the soil where other things can grow very heavily. Under this big African blue basil are sweet potatoes growing. Let me lift this up. Right here. Sweet potatoes are growing in this bed. Right here. All I did was stick this little slip in here and it's growing nicely in the shade. Generally it will fall over the bed and grow along here. All along here it will grow sweet potatoes. And I will allow it, instead of vining it, I will allow it to wine all out of this bed and give me potatoes. Most know about putting a sweet potato in a glass of water held up with toothpicks will eventually give you slips. But this is one of my favorites. I have an old Tupperware. It's broken down. I throw scraps in here all the time. I have thrown a couple look at the lizard. I've thrown a couple of sweet potatoes in here. These are some old carrots that I had. They're in here rotting. This is just like a compost bin. Let me find a stick. And you will have a couple of flies and stuff like this. But the stuff that is breaking down in here will help whatever you have grow very, very well. So it's gotten covered with hay and all of those different kind of things. And here's our sweet potato. This is one of my favorite methods. So I just put the sweet potato in here, covered it with a little hay, and it's grown these slips. And you're just gonna take your slip, just like that, and you're gonna break them off. I'm gonna put that one right there. That's one. And here's two. Just like that. So now we have two slips. And I will not pull this up. Leave that there. We're going to cover it back up. And then here we have a baby. Will I take this baby? No, I'm gonna leave it. If you can see, it's holes all in this sweet potato, but it's giving me what I need. Covering it up a little bit more will help it, but it's fine. Over here, we have another slip, along with some onions and other stuff. Look at that, it's a potato I threw in here. Just deep down in here, so you can bury the whole sweet potato. We're gonna break off these slips here. That's one. That, and then here's another one. And I'm gonna leave this in here, cover it right back up. I'm gonna cover that potato up too. We're gonna take our slips back over to our table. Here's a tip. After you get your slips from your sweet potatoes, there's gonna be little portions that still have a little bit of attachment from the sweet potato. This is right where you want to cut. You want to take this off here. And most of the time they will have them. Right here, come off. And this has roots. So this one can be rooted into two slips and not just one. So this is a method of getting your slips. You want to put them in some water. You do not want them to dry out. And then you got to find your space for it. You can put those automatically in the ground if you like to. They will root, no problems. They're pretty hardy, especially in my area. I'm in zone 4B. I'm just gonna stick those in there. These are gonna get planted today. Let's go over my next method. My next method is to take a pot of soil and you're going to place the potatoes halfway in the soil, just halfway. These I have not watered. They've just been sitting outside getting rainwater, and rainwater is generally the best. These have been out here longer than the ones over in my bin that I showed you. As you can see, these slips are going to have really good roots. This is an awesome way. Look how long this slip is. When your slips are this long, you do want to clip back some of the leaves to have a better strong root system, because the potato is helping it stabilize itself along with its roots that are in here. So when you take that off, it's going to be fending for a lot. If we look here, before I take these slips off of this potato, we have these nodes. These are these little bump parts right here. That's 1, 2, 3. All of these spots, as it grows and this touches soil, will give us sweet potatoes, like I said before. So let's go ahead and harvest these slips. You can actually, if you're ready to harvest all of your slips, some might not recommend it, but I do it all the time. If I'm ready to harvest all of them from one sweet potato, you can pretty much lift up your sweet potato. If you are using this method, lift it up like this. So you're going to break off your slip and put it right back in your soil. You can lift up this one, just like this. See the way our sweet potatoes are? And this part right here, this is the part I'm talking about. You do not want this when you put it in the soil. This right here will lead to some disease or some rot on your slips. So we're going to take it And I want to go past this because this is going to go into another slip. If I get too much, I can always cut this off. This is the part you want to cut off, the potato part. So we have some more slips. You do want your slips to be a certain length. I'm going to leave these. They don't even have roots yet. They're still attached to the sweet potato. So this goes right back in here. Just like that. This one, the long one, it's already got his own business going on. Not even attached to the potato anymore. Wow. Look at that root system. Look at that. Look at that. Let's see how many we have here. There's 1 and 2. I'm going to break off these leaves here to give it a better chance at being strong. Just like that. That's enough. Just like that. So what I'm going to do is clip off as much of this potato-ishness. There we go. See the color change? This is what we want. We want these long roots here. Let's take a look at the ones that I have been sitting here. And I know I just added the new ones in here. So if you can see, the new ones got potato on it. Nah, we don't want that. And the other ones that have been here, the roots have grown really, really strong. And these can be planted. I'm going to plant them separately to give them a chance to get their free range and their bearings. You see them? Beautiful. That's Apollo the hawk. He comes out here, and he's out here all day long. He has a friend now, so he's over there talking to his friend. I haven't named the other hawk yet, but his name is definitely Apollo. Now that you have your slips, you got to go find a spot for them. So I think I have the perfect spot for some. That is it. That is all that it takes to grow your sweet potatoes from sweet potato slips. I find that this sandy, loomy soil works perfect for them, and this will be their home. I planted them close together, closer than most would, but that's because I'm going to let them just grow all along the ground.